Drafting in Flesh and Blood is a highly skill testing format that blends deck building, card evaluation, and strategic play. It's a staple in competitive events like Pro Tour and Nationals, making it essential for competitive players to master. This video breaks down the key principles and quick tips for drafting Flesh and Blood. Each section will have its own timestamp, so feel free to jump ahead to the section you need. If you're a more experienced player, you can jump straight to the time listed here. Otherwise, let's dive in. Fab Draft revolves around a single set and will include the following. Each set will feature a specific number of heroes to form the foundation of your draft pool. Talented hero sets typically will have 3 to 4, whilst untalented hero sets can go up to 6, such as heavy hitters. Some sets include special heroes, like High Seas, where Scurv is a hidden stowaway who can only be drafted if you manage to discover him tucked away in one of the draft packs. It's important to understand the role and strategy of each hero you can play, as well as their class and talent. This helps you know which cards to look for when building your deck. Cards are categorized by class and/or talent, but there are also generic cards that can be included in any deck. In a talentless set, you typically find single class cards and generic cards. Some sets may also include dual class cards. These are usable by 2 different classes. In contrast, a talented set includes a wider variety: single class, dual class, talent specific, class and talent combination, and generic cards. For example, if you're drafting Syndra from the Hunted, you can use Ninja, Draconic Ninja, Ninja Assassin dual class, Draconic talent cards, and generic cards in your deck. Equipment is incredibly important in draft. Starting with a full set of 4 pieces can effectively give you an advantage of around 4 extra life, or even more in some cases. Equipment can provide various benefits, such as granting an extra action point, gaining 1 resource, increasing attack power, and/or offer block value. Since most draft packs include only 1 piece of equipment and each player wants a full set, you'll typically see about 24 pieces opened in total, while 32 are needed to fully equip all players. This scarcity makes equipment quite valuable, and you should prioritize it highly. It's important to stay flexible in case a better class option opens up during the draft. Prioritizing premium generic cards gives you the freedom to include them in any deck you choose. Similarly, multi-class and talent cards, usually playable in 2 different classes. This offers added versatility, helping you keep your options open when deciding which hero to commit to. There will be variations in pack configuration depending on the set being drafted. You can expect to find 11 to 12 common cards and 2 rare cards, with 1 sometimes of higher rarity. In addition to those, you'll also find 1 rainbow foil, 1 to 2 tokens, and on rare occasion, 1 special card. But of course, all of these depends on the set you are drafting. The pack collation will further deepen when a set includes talents. Let's compare a talented and untalented set. Suppose I'm drafting from Outsiders, an untalented set featuring 6 heroes, 2 ninjas, Katsu and Benji, 2 rangers, Azalea and Riptide, and 2 assassins, Uzuri and Arachne Solitary Confinement. After opening a few packs, based on the collation, it appears that each pack typically includes 1 to 2 single class commons, 1 dual class common, 1 common equipment, 3 to 4 generic commons, 1 dual class rare or higher, 1 generic or single class rare or higher, and 1 foil card, which can be of any type and rarity. On the other hand, let's say I'm drafting Part the Mistveil, a talented set featuring 3 playable heroes: Zen, a mystic ninja, Enigma, a mystic illusionist, and Nu, a mystic assassin. After opening several packs and analyzing the collation, it seems that each pack typically contains the following configuration. Mastering pack configuration is a strategic edge that can elevate your draft performance and decision making. In Flesh and Blood, the typical strategy is to play your red cards while using your blue cards primarily for pitching. Most draft decks aim to pitch 1 blue card per turn and play around 1 to 2 red cards, so having a higher ratio of red cards generally makes your deck stronger. This of course may vary depending on hero abilities and synergies. In draft, your goal should be to make each card you draw contribute at least 3 value. Whether that's 3 resources to spend, 3 block against your opponent's attack, or 3 damage, preferably with go again. This makes yellow cards awkward as they typically fall short of pitching or attacking at full efficiency. To begin a draft, players are organized into pods, ideally with 8 players. Each player receives 3 booster packs. Drafting starts with all players opening their first booster pack simultaneously. The last 1 to 2 cards, typically tokens, are removed from the draft pool. This number may vary depending on the set you are drafting. Any majestic or cold foil cards found in these slots aren't eligible for use in your draft deck, but you still get to keep them. From the remaining cards, each player selects 1 card and places it face down in front of them. The rest of the pack is then passed to the left. Players repeat this process. Pick 1 card, pass the rest, until the entire first pack is drafted. The second pack is drafted the same way, except this time, cards are passed to the right. The third pack is also drafted again the same way, but cards are again passed to the left. During drafting, players may not look at their drafted cards until all cards from a pack have been picked. However, before opening the second and third packs, players are allowed to review their drafted cards. Afterward, they must return their drafted cards to a single face-down pile. At the end of the draft, each player keeps all the cards they selected. In Booster Draft, each player registers a young hero from the draftable set along with all the cards they've drafted. However, non-token cards pulled from the token slot, such as expansion slot cards, cold foils, extended art variants, legendaries, fabled, or non-young heroes are not legal for draft play, though players still keep those cards. Token rarity cards often include weapons for each hero. Cracked baubles. These are used as filler cards. And depending on the set, certain equipment and other functional deck cards. These tokens are usually pooled and shared after opening packs, so players can access any needed cards for their draft decks. During high-tier events, players must register their pool using the provided registration sheet. They should complete the player section, then hand over the blank registration sheet along with all drafted cards to their assigned deck verifier for checking. During this time, the player will be assigned another player's cards and registration sheet. They will then add their details in the verification section and fill in the cards in the appropriate section of the other player's registration sheet. Once verification is complete, the deck verifier will return the completed registration sheet along with the player's cards. The player must select the hero they intend to play and review their registration sheet and card pool. Once finished, the player must signal a floor judge to collect their completed deck registration sheet. Now the player can start building their deck. Players can only include cards whose class and/or talent are a subset of their heroes. For example, a Draconic card can only be played by a Draconic hero. Generic cards are legal in any deck. There is no limit to the number of copies of a single card in your deck. If you draft more than 3 of a unique card, you may play all of them. Hero abilities and card effects may have different rules. For example, heroes with essence can include cards with specific talents, even if the hero doesn't directly have that talent. The legendary keyword only applies in constructed formats like Classic Constructed or Blitz. In limited formats, you may play multiple copies of cards with the legendary keyword if you draft them. Some sets feature a macro. These are special permanent cards that starts the game in play. Macros are not drafted. They don't count toward your deck or inventory and are not part of your card pool. Deck must include 1 young hero token card and weapon, drafted equipment if any. And since June 2024, decks must have exactly 30 cards. No more, no less. If a player cannot construct a minimum 30 card deck from their drafted cards, they may add cracked baubles until the deck meets the requirement. Some specific sets have additional rules regarding how Booster Draft is played. I added a link to this in the description. Reading a draft refers to interpreting signals from the cards being passed to you. It can help figure out which hero or class is open, meaning underdrafted by others, so you can make better picks and end up with a stronger deck. If you see that a certain class keeps showing up with good cards deep into the pack, it might mean that players before you are not drafting that class. On the flip side, if the class you're drafting starts drawing up, It could mean others near you are in the same class, and you might need to pivot. Try avoiding clashing with too many players on the same class, which weakens your deck. Early picks should be flexible. Take strong generics or dual class cards that keep options open. In a FAB draft, sending signals refers to the indirect messages you communicate to other players through the cards you pass. Specifically, by passing or not passing certain class cards, you're giving clues about which hero and/or class you're likely not drafting. Thus, influencing what your neighbors think is open. For example, imagine you open your first pack with 3 strong assassin card and a strong warrior card. You take the warrior card. When you pass the rest of the pack, including the strong assassin cards, to the next player, they will interpret that assassin is open and start drafting that class. If they're right, they'll stay in that lane, and that helps you because now they're not taking warrior cards from the packs they pass back to you in pack 2. Unless, of course, they are forcing the hero you are drafting. This brings me to the next topic. Forcing in FAB drafting refers to the strategy of committing to a specific hero or class early in the draft, often from your very first pick, and sticking with it regardless of the signals you receive from other players at the table. Forcing a hero in pack 1, pick 1 is risky. You're locking in early and potentially ignoring signals that a different class is more open. Let's look at the pros and cons of forcing. For pros, we have the following: practice and mastery. If you're very comfortable with a specific hero, forcing lets you capitalize on your skill and win rate with that deck type. Simplifies decisions. You don't have to analyze every pack for signals or keep options open. This speeds up decision making and reduces mental fatigue in long events. Hedges against weak signals. Sometimes the early packs don't offer clear guidance, and trying to read the draft can be misleading. Forcing in this scenario skips the ambiguity. Meta-based success. In some formats, certain heroes are just stronger or have deeper card pools. Forcing them can give you access to a high ceiling strategy. Now for the cons of forcing: fighting for cards. If one or more players near you are in the same class, you'll compete for the same card pool, leading to a weaker deck for everyone involved. Low flexibility. You might miss an open class or hero that would have given you much stronger deck if you'd stayed open for a few picks longer. Relies on pack variance. Forcing can backfire hard if the packs simply don't contain enough good cards for your hero, especially if it's an under-supported pool. Is it ever correct to force when drafting? Well, it depends. It may sometimes be correct if you're highly skilled with a particular hero and less familiar with others. The format supports it, like heavy hitters, where your choices may still go to 2 different heroes. Early packs contain bombs, like high-impact rares or majestics that are worth building around, and you've tested the draft format extensively and know forcing a certain hero wins more often than not. If you do force, do it with intent. Know your breakpoints and ask yourself, how many class cards do I need? Which generic supports this strategy I'm going for? What signals would ever make me pivot? Forcing isn't just stubbornness, it's a calculated decision. The best drafters know when to force and when to stay flexible. Reading the draft in FAB refers to the process of interpreting signals from the packs you receive to determine which hero or class is open. By doing this, you aim to position yourself in a class that few others are competing for, which allows you to access a deeper pool of powerful and synergistic cards. In FAB, this is especially important because decks need a critical mass of class-specific cards to function properly. Reading helps ensure that you're in a lane where you'll consistently get what you need. The pros of reading your draft: access to stronger cards. If you read correctly and pivot into an open class, you'll likely get higher quality cards throughout the draft, especially in packs 2 and 3. Avoids competition. You're less likely to fight with neighbors over the same class cards, improving your deck consistency and overall power. Adaptability. Staying open for the first few picks allows you to respond to what's available and build toward the strongest possible deck for that seat. Long-term value. You develop better drafting instincts and flexibility, which is key in competitive play and unfamiliar draft environments. The cons of reading when drafting. Early picks can be wasted. If you pivot too late, you might end up with a few picks that don't fit your final deck, lowering its overall efficiency. Signal noise. Sometimes the signals are unclear or misleading. Players might be cutting classes late, drafting poorly, or taking generics that muddy the water. Requires discipline. You need to resist the temptation of strong individual cards that don't align with your emerging read, which can be tough under pressure. Pack variance. Even if you read correctly, the open class might not have deep support in the packs, leading to a weak pool anyway. In order to effectively read your draft, you want to do the following. Watch what's missing. For example, if pack 2 or 3 is missing all the Ranger cards, it could mean someone upstream is drafting that class heavily. Look for late signals. If you're still seeing strong class cards for a specific hero around picks 5 to 8, that class may be open and worth pivoting into. Count card types. If a class shows up consistently with usable attacks and key pitch values, that's a sign it's underdrafted and viable. Track generics too. Some classes rely more on generics than others. If you're seeing good generics that pair well with a certain class, that can support your read. Good drafters often stay open for the first 3 to 5 picks and then start to commit based on what they're seeing. The key is to find the balance between reacting and overreacting. Sometimes the best read is a quiet signal, not a loud one. It's also helpful to know each set's class density and overlap. Some heroes can share card pools, making soft pivots easier. The best drafter treats drafting like a conversation without words. You're reading what the others are telling you, but you're also choosing how to respond and communicate back. A classic combo is read and signal in pack 1, commit and build in pack 2, and secure value in pack 3. This sequence allows you to navigate draft pods more cleanly and come out with a stronger deck. Let's break it down further. Pack 1 is when you lay down the foundation. Here you want to stay flexible. Take powerful generics, dual class cards, or premium class cards. Pay attention to signals and track cards that are missing. Do not lock in too early. Stay open for the first 3 to 5 picks unless something is clearly open. And remember, it's never too early to start looking at premium equipment. In pack 2, lock into your hero and build your deck's foundation. Lock your hero and start cutting off your class. Start building your deck identity. Fix any early curve issues. Think about pitch balance and efficiency. If you're still unsure of your class, this pack should clarify it. Pivoting late is risky, but sometimes necessary if pack 1 dried up. Pack 3 is where you fill and fix. Focus on rounding out your deck. Prioritize ratios, pitch balance, attack actions, defense reactions. Grab any missing key cards or tech cards. Here's a rapid-fire recap plus a few bonus tips to help you crush your next draft. At number 1, know the hero and the set you are drafting. Learn what each hero wants. Does this hero want a lot of blues, low-cost go-agains, or attack reactions? Understand what a good version of that hero looks like. Learn key synergies and lines for each class. Tip number 2, draft a playable deck, not just good cards. Consistency and synergy trumps raw power. A mediocre but synergistic deck can outperform a pile of rares. At number 3, pitch curve matters. This one's underrated. Fab runs on resources. Literally. Different heroes needs different resources, so knowing what your deck needs is key. Ignore your pitch curve, and you're going to end up with hands that you just can't play. At number 4, value 3 block cards. If you're unsure about a pick, here's a rule of thumb. Does it block for 3 with decent upside? It's often a safe pick. At number 5, read signals and send them too. Drafting isn't just about what you take, it's about what you're being passed. If you're seeing strong class cards late, that class is likely open. And when you cut cards from your class early, you're telling others to stay away. This really matters when you hit pack 2. Tip number 6, prioritize equipment. Equipment is limited and often hard to come by. So when good draftable equipment shows up, especially those that blocks or enable key mechanics, think twice before passing it. At number 7, we have sideboarding. Yep, you can sideboard in Fab Draft. Pick up those tech cards when you can, but only if you got room for them. Keep matchups in mind and give yourself options going into each game. Tip number 8, build smart. Know how many cards you have towards your 30. Don't waste picks on random off-class stuff unless it's for your sideboard. Keep your final deck lean, focused, and efficient. At number 9, watch high-level drafts. If you really want to start leveling up, start watching high-level drafts. Pay attention to how they stay open, when they pivot, and how they prioritize synergy over raw power. You'll start seeing patterns that you can apply instantly. And lastly, at number 10, practice. Honestly, this is the biggest tip. Drafting is a skill, and like any skill, it takes reps. Draft as often as you can, especially in pods with friends. And after each draft, review it. Ask yourself, were there any weak picks? Did I pivot too early or too late? Did I get enough blues? Did I end up short on playables? Set yourself specific goals each time. This draft I'll focus on staying open for the first 3 picks. Small goals help isolate and improve specific skills. Whether you're just getting into the game or trying to level up for your next big event, getting good at draft is seriously one of the best ways to improve your skills. Remember, stay open early, read your signals, draft with a game plan, and of course, have fun. Got a favorite draft set and your own tips? Drop them in the comment. I'd love to hear what worked for you. And hey, if this helped you out, give it a like, share, and hit that subscribe button for more Fab content. A special thanks to my channel members and supporters. If you'd like to support what I do, consider becoming a channel member. Every bit helps keep this channel going. This was Jackie for the Fab Workshop. See you next time, and thanks for watching.